Have you ever had a moment where your male cat just does something completely uncalled for? One second he's sitting quietly like a little statue of judgment, and the next he's sprinting across the room, meowing at absolutely nothing, then flopping onto the floor like he just completed a life-changing mission. And if you've lived with both male and female cats, you've probably noticed something even more confusing. Same house, same food, same love, but completely different personalities. Now, here's the part that makes most cat owners pause a little. It's not just personality. There are patterns underneath it. Wiring, timing, instinct. And if you've ever thought, why does my male cat act like this, but my female cat behaves like that? You're about to see the hidden structure behind it. Because once you understand it, your cat doesn't feel random anymore. He feels readable. And that's where things start getting interesting. 1. The early build you never see. Let's start earlier than most people expect. Before habits, before personality, before anything you can actually observe. Male kittens are influenced by hormonal patterns that begin extremely early in development, long before they ever interact with the world in a meaningful way. Now, this doesn't mean a male cat is programmed into one personality type, but it does influence how certain brain regions develop, especially the ones tied to exploration, responsiveness, and reaction to novelty. So in simple terms, many male cats tend to grow into a mindset that leans toward movement first, hesitation later. That's why you might see a male cat walk straight into a new room like he owns shares in the building, while another cat might quietly observe from a distance first. But here's where it gets more interesting. Because that early leaning doesn't just affect movement, it affects communication too. And this is where most cat owners start noticing something very obvious without realizing what it means. 2. He talks. A lot more than you think. Have you ever noticed that your male cat seems to announce himself more often? He enters a room, meows. You walk in, meows again. You leave for 5 seconds. Somehow there's another meow waiting for you when you return. Now, here's the interesting part. Studies observing cat greetings found that male cats often vocalize more frequently during human interaction compared to females. Not because they're louder personalities, but because communication becomes a tool, a learned pattern, a way of getting response. Think about this for a second. If something works, even once, cats remember it. So if a small sound gets your attention, it becomes a strategy. And over time, your male cat builds what's basically a personalized communication system just for you. Now, here's the subtle twist. This isn't about neediness, it's about efficiency. But that's not the only way he communicates. Because while sound gets your attention, there's another signal he uses to define everything around him. And it involves you directly. 3. He is literally marking you in a good way. Let's talk about rubbing. That face rub against your leg, that slow head press into your hand, that casual walk by where he makes sure you are thoroughly approved. This isn't random affection alone, it's scent communication. Cats have scent glands in their cheeks, and when your male cat rubs against you, he's essentially mixing his scent with yours. Now, before this sounds territorial in a stressful way, pause for a second. This is actually familiarity-building behavior. It's how your cat creates safe zone markers in his environment. So when he rubs your leg, your chair, your bag, he's not saying this is mine in a controlling way. It's more like, this is part of what I recognize. This is safe. But here's where it gets really interesting. You'll often see this behavior increase when something changes. A new object, a new visitor, even small environmental shifts. Which means your male cat is constantly updating his mental map of what belongs in my safe world. And speaking of maps, there's something else he does that feels almost like a routine, but it's actually something deeper. 4. The quiet house patrol. Have you ever noticed your male cat slowly walking through the house like he's checking inventory? Room to room, doorways, corners, windows, not rushed, just intentional. Now think about this for a second. This isn't boredom, it's scanning. Male cats are often more likely to repeatedly check their environment, especially familiar territory boundaries. Because in their mind, the environment is never static. Something could change. Something could appear. So they verify, again and again. And this is where owners sometimes misread the behavior. They think he's restless, but actually, he's updating certainty. Now before we go further, quick pause. Because if this is already making you look at your cat differently, you might want to subscribe or follow along with FurEver for more behavior breakdowns like this. All right, now here's where things shift again. Because all that awareness doesn't always look calm. Sometimes it looks reckless. 5. The bold, act-first personality. Have you ever seen a male cat attempt something physically impossible and still commit to it fully? Jump first, think later, miss slightly, land dramatically anyway. Now here's the pattern behind it. Male cats tend to lean more toward exploration-first behavior, not because they don't assess risk, but because novelty often outweighs hesitation. So instead of waiting and analyzing every detail, they engage, then adjust mid-action. That's why you might see behaviors like sudden sprinting for no clear reason, overcommitting to jumps, investigating strangers immediately. And yes, it can look chaotic, but it also makes them extremely responsive to their environment. Now here's where people get surprised, because that boldness disappears in one very specific situation, and instead, something very different shows up. 6. When he suddenly becomes quietly attached. You might expect a bold cat to be independent all the time, but male cats often show a very different pattern when stress enters the picture. They don't always retreat. They often move closer, not loudly, not dramatically, just physically closer to you, sitting nearby, following you between rooms, settling in the same space during uncertainty. This is where attachment becomes visible. Because in moments of instability, many male cats shift from exploration mode to proximity mode. And that's important. It shows that boldness and attachment are not opposites. They're just different settings. Now here's something most owners recognize instantly. Because this next behavior is where personality really becomes obvious. 7. The no-filter moments. Male cats often have a very visible, unfiltered way of interacting with the world. They don't always hold back. They don't always compose themselves. One moment they're calm, next moment they're upside down, halfway off the couch, staring at you like nothing happened. It's not lack of awareness. It's lower hesitation and expression, which makes them feel more emotionally transparent. You don't have to guess what they're thinking as much. They show it. Very directly, sometimes dramatically, and that's part of what makes them so easy to read. So when you look at all of this together, the early wiring, the vocal communication, the scent marking, the patrol behavior, the boldness, and even those completely unfiltered moments, it stops feeling like random cat behavior and starts feeling like a consistent system, a different style of moving through the same world. And if you remember that quiet patrol we talked about earlier, that slow walk through the house checking everything, that might be the clearest glimpse into how your male cat actually experiences his environment. Not chaotic, not confused, just constantly updating what feels familiar and what doesn't. Anyway, I'm going to go see why my cat is sitting in a box that is physically too small for him again. Pretty sure he's ignoring physics on purpose? FurEver.